Hi gang, Chalice here. Stardate 44372.1930, June 25th, 2021, approximately 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So, how's everybody doing? Ready for the weekend? For those who are not working the weekend, and for those who are, I'm sorry. But it's good to be working. Today, uh, well, okay, while I'm here, if you could hit the like button, subscribe, and share. Maybe that'll help get the word out. So today, we're talking a little bit about assertions and citations. I just finished a legal research course class and legal research and writing. The first part is about research and how to cite, and in it, um, and a major part of the class is was about citations. In other words, citing backup or support for any assertion you make or any claim you make in any of your pleadings or motions or what have you. You must cite to a law or a case law. And I cringe there because cases aren't law, only legislation can be law. Um, but cases are used as law, and that's wrong. Well, that's not the point here. So let me try not to get distracted. So in the so you have to cite to statutes, and most of the citations go to case law of cases that have occurred, and the judge's opinion has, and the facts meet the case, and you cite back to that case. See, this judge said it this way, so we're going to go with it this way. But in any case, any assertion you make in a pleading has to be cited to something else. You can't just say something and then, well, we're just going to go with that. That doesn't work. The judge won't accept that. He'll kick it back. But are we even at that point? Are we sounding a little bit familiar? You can't just say something and expect the judge is going to take your word for it. Keep those words in mind. We'll come back to those. But in everything, you have to have a citation, and it is so important. I mean, there's actually a fairly thick book, and these books are rather small writing, called the Blue Book of Citations, and it covers, I mean, pretty much everything you can think of. On the inside, these are some things for Florida. If I can make this work right. Oh, this is so ridiculous. But oh, there it comes. Some of it. Anyway, crap. Anyway, these are citation formats, different sources, and how you cite. It's really, I mean, you could take a whole entire semester class just on doing citations. And I think in law school they actually do. But it's these are my little bookmarks, and I have a better way to do it, told to me by the teacher. I've just been too lazy to get to it. And it has some quick references in the back, on the inside, and on the inside too. I'm not trying to sell this book. I don't get any money for the book. But the point for that is to show you how important citations are. And it is so important, in fact, that it has to be specific. The citation format has to be specific for different kinds of things that you're citing to. So that's how important it is to support what you claim, what you assert, with something else that's already been established. Let me say that again. It is important to for any claim or assertion to cite back to something else that has already been established in order to support your claim or assertion. That is critical. So taking that theory, or taking that, it's not a theory, it's something that's done. Taking that idea and that methodology, and do we now think that, well, that's only law, it really doesn't apply to anywhere else? But is that really so? You go down to buy a car and the car salesman tells you all these good and wonderful things about the car, but wait, are you just going to sign on a dotted line, pay him the money, and go? No, not most people. You're gonna take it for a test drive. You're gonna ask questions. Some people even take it to some mechanics who actually offer specific service for pre-buy inspections. For that reason, because you're not going to take their word for it. You want to know if there's anything going on with that car, used or even new. So guaranteeing means nothing if you're broke down on the side of the road. Just because you have a guarantee doesn't, you're still broken down. Same thing when you buy a house. Don't you have your inspection, your WDO inspection, your home inspection, your title inspection to make sure the title is right? You know, the owner says, "Oh, my title is good. I have ownership of this property." Well, that's gonna have to be proved by doing a search. Nobody transfers property without doing a search, and you can't get insurance to cover your title without having a search done. So, and it has happened. It's happened a lot. You know, I could say, man, I got some great waterfront property way down in South Florida. Huge waterfront property. You have the place all to yourself, right? I can sell you something like that. A good price too, $5,000. I'll give you an acre of land down there. $5,000 and you're good to go, right? We'll write the contract, I'll do it. Are you going to accept that? No. You're going to want proof. You're going to want backup. You're going to want support to my claim that I actually have this property, that I own the property, that I possess the property, and that I have the authority to sell the property. So you see, so this idea of citing back to things that have already been established does not just apply to the law, or does not apply just to the law. It applies everywhere in real life as well. And no, I'm not intending to teach law or to teach legal anything or give any legal advice. And people want to, put disclaimers and all that crap. I'm not giving legal advice. There's no way it can be interpreted as legal advice except by nothing. So I'm just telling you that this is not legal advice, so don't take it as such. But it is what it is. You do have to cite. So if I'm going to sell you a piece of land, you're going to want to make sure that I'm able to sell you that land, because you buy the land, you give me the $5,000, and I'm gone, and you're stuck with a piece of paper, and you try to go find that land, you can't get to it. So there you can't just say something and expect it's gonna, you're just gonna sign on the dotted line right then and there. With the car, your friend or buddy comes to you, man, he's got this great money making scheme. Give him $10,000. He's gonna bring you $15,000 in a month, right? Well, are you gonna jump into that? No, not likely. You're gonna want to look into it. You want some numbers. You want to see what's going on, what the business is doing, how it's doing, who's running it, and so on and so forth. So, in other words, through all these examples, you're not going to take somebody's word for something just because they said it, right? That would be just silly, especially when it's your money involved. You're not going to do that, are you? Can you think of any other examples where you would want, to have some sort of backup or support or justify what somebody else is telling you, the words that somebody else is telling you? Think of some other examples that you do, perhaps maybe without even thinking about it. But now you can stop and think, okay, what else am I doing? I'm not going to take their word for it, am I? So all of these examples are showing that it's generally not a good idea. It's always not a good idea just because to proceed just because somebody said something on the words that somebody said. Especially you don't want to proceed to, lose your job. Are you going to abandon your job or quit your job or stop working because somebody said something? No, not when you got bills to pay. So then why is it? It just seems common sense that we would want some sort of backup or support for something somebody says before we start throwing our money away or throwing our livelihood away. Um, so why then would we accept hook, line, and sinker? I mean, without the first question. The words somebody says who actually makes millions, tens of millions, maybe even hundreds of millions on what he's telling you. We're going to believe that. But a car dealer who's going to make maybe 1,000 or 2 or 5 on selling you a car, you're not going to take his word for nothing. You're going to test drive, look under the hood, whatever you're going to do. But somebody who's going to make you close down your business or going to put you out of work because the business owner has to close down on the words without one single shred of evidence. No citation, no backup, no support at all. And we're going to do this. And I know you know what I'm talking about, but it really doesn't matter because it happens all the time in government. They'll tell you something and people will just believe it just because they said so. And that's a fallacy. I'm not sure the official term is called, but a fallacy of authority or some such. And just because these people are sitting in Washington does not automatically give them authority, does not automatically give them expertise at all. Just because they sit there and steal money from you doesn't make them that they know what they're doing or know what it is they're telling you. So that means if we're going to accept somebody's word without questioning, without wanting to see any sort of backup or support, I mean, even in a car dealership, some of these, they used to have sales 1 penny over invoice. We'll show you the invoice. Right? There's your backup. You're out of work, sitting at home, or you've been told to close your business. Where is that invoice? Where is that backup that says that what you've been told to do is really going to make any difference? It's just not there. And by the way, statistics are not acceptable as a citation unless it's been where did my notes go? Crud. Without full disclosure, I mean absolute full disclosure, how the numbers were collected, how they were reported, what are the definitions of the terms used, what are the definitions of the counts that were used, and has to be subject to cross-examination. In other words, if you provide statistics to back up your claim, you have to allow those statistics to be questioned and scrutinized by the opposition. So, have we done that even? They keep showing these charts and graphs and stuff, but people have questioned them, but they've been shut down, those who do. So they expect you just to read that and accept it because they told you. So why are we having the mindset that because they said so, we have to accept it? And also, if you see it on the news, sorry, I hit the mute button. If you see 3 times now, if you see it on the news, that's actually called hearsay. That's nothing but hearsay, which by itself is not acceptable. You don't have any, even if they give you a direct quote from somebody, that's still hearsay because you don't have the entire context of the quote. So, but most of these reporters and things, they're basic. It's just even a video of something, it's still hearsay. So because the first thing, because there is no option to scrutinize it there is no option or availability for any opposition to question it. So that's also one thing. There is no, boy, look at all these scams. There is no, in the courtroom, there's nothing presented without giving the opposition a chance to question it from either side. So why in life are we going to ruin our lives and then not without the opportunity to question? So here's so that's basically what it comes down to. When people are saying something, politicians, people who are bought and paid for by the politicians, the news people, anybody who tells you something, you want some sort of support or backup. Don't just accept it because they said so or because you think they have some sort of authoritarian position or authority position or knowledge position or position of knowledge or expertise. No, you want to see, just like the Wendy's commercial, where's the beef? You want to see that beef. And you want to be able to question it. You must be able to question it, scrutinize it, dig into it, do an audit. Here's another example. Big companies always have to have an annual audit because, the shareholders want to know, just because they put a report, hey, we made $5 billion this year. Well, you put that out to the shareholders. That's not sufficient. You have to have an independent audit so that so that they can verify that those numbers were actually good numbers. But why in everything else in life do we want some sort of support or backup? But on this, when we're ruining our lives, do we not demand anything at all? We just take the word for it and then that's it. Why do we do that? So that's what this video log is about. It's about not taking the words from somebody, anybody, a group, without some legitimate, non-conflicted backup that justifies their words. So that's what we need to do. So, and we still can always. It's our job. So, but let me put an end to it. Let me put a stop to my blathering now. Because it's already been like 17 and a half, almost 18 minutes. Wanted to go kind of quickly. I didn't expect to talk so long. So anyway, go Ryan Christian at TLAV says question everything. And it's correct. That's his motto, question everything. So I'll add a little bit more to that and say, look for the backup. What are the sources? Where's the beef? Go start finding out where's the beef. Start scrutinizing what's being told, how it's being told, the words that are being said. Look up definitions. Find the charts and find out the graphs and how protocols were set in order to produce those graphs. Start digging into this stuff, and it really doesn't take much because all that stuff is out there. It just takes a little bit to go look. So go digging and as always, while you're digging, to keep yourself digging, stay courageous.